All right, welcome back to Market Day Report. I'm Scott Shelby, otherwise known as the Cow Guy. Thank you very much for joining us here on this Monday morning. And if you've just tuned us in, that's good. It's my job to try to make you stay, see what we can do with that. I'm not getting a lot of help from these markets, so the honest truth is it's been a rough one here in the start of the week. So let's take a look at corn. What does that look like for us here today? Double-digit losses across the board. We've got SEP off 14.25 cents. The 625.5. We've got that new crop East down 15.5 cents to 626.75. So it's been a rough one as we get started here with corn down, say between 13.75 cents and 15 cents across the board. How about soybeans? This one also is a little bit bruised, actually a lot of it bruised. September's down 42 cents to 14.93. Gave up that 15 handle. While Nove's at 14.17.5, which is down 36.75 cents in that new crop. So trying to hang on to that $14 level. We had been as low as $13.86. It's come back a little bit as we've been on air here, but we'll keep an eye on it for you. But right now, trading heavily to the downside. We'll see if that can get any better before we go home. How about Chicago wheat? Well, that's off. This looks relatively tame, doesn't it? SEP's off 5.5 cents to $8 even and a half cent. Trying to get back to that $8 level. We've got March, middle of the curve, middle of the deferreds, as they say, 6 cents lower there. 8.29 and a half. How about hard red wheat in Kansas City, the old HRW? SEP's off 7.25 cents, 8.82. March off 10 cents to 8.86. Let's go over to the spring wheat. See what we've got happening in Minneapolis. SEP's off 13.25 cents to 9.0625. We had been a lot lower to 8.8825. How about that? March is off 13.75 cents to 9.2975, and that too is about 15 cents off the lows. Lastly, let's go to this one. Cotton was limit up last time we checked, and it still is 500 points limit up each one. October, December, March, May, and July, all limit up across the board. Let's go to the D's. That's up to 113.59, and we were just down around 84 not too long ago, so that's just come screaming back. Let's get back in with our next guest analyst. It's Todd Horowitz from Bubba Trading in Las Vegas. Todd, thanks for joining the show. I don't know. I mean, is it new? A little bit of precipitation, cooler weather, China. What is it going to be?
Pick one. It was like we'll go out for Chinese dinner. Take one from each column, right? I mean,
right.
I don't. There's not a lot here. I mean, if you look at corn did not even take out the lows from Friday's lows, and it started to come back a little bit. You know, soybeans and wheat both came a little bit below, but they didn't take out the weekly lows. You know, I think we're just in this big churn, Scott. It's so really quiet. I mean, this morning, if you looked across the board, it looked like you sell everything, just walk away. And suddenly now equities have come back a little bit. The grains are starting to bounce back a little bit. So, you know, I can't put a lot into this. I can only put into what I know to be factual at the moment, and that is that it doesn't look like it's going to be a great season. It looks like we're going to have a big shortage, and it looks like prices have to go higher. Now, again, obviously that could be wrong. I don't want anybody to think that I know the gospel, but it makes logical sense that there's going to be a big demand, and we're going to be short supplies. Right. Should bring higher prices.
Well, I mean, real quick, we had DTN here last week early, and they came out with that 167 number for corn, right? Remember? And I was able to ask him on the way out what was behind that. Is it really that bad in the West? And the answer really was, Todd, it's not that it's bad in the West, clearly, but they said that 225, 215 bushels per acre stuff in the East was only coming in around 200. So it was really the East that was going down a little bit, not as bad as the West. I thought that was interesting.
I agree 100%. I think that's what we're looking at, and that's what I have to look at. Listen, from a trading standpoint, I look at it one way. From a longer-term view, I have to look at it another way. And the longer-term view says prices got to go higher. Just look at what's going on at the retail end.
Yeah, I mean, it's pointing that way. We'll see. We also have to now deal with China slowing down, and that's caught people kind of wrong-footed here this morning with the bad numbers they got over the weekend. So it's all we're going to have a lot to talk about. That's for sure for the next 6 months. All right, stay right there. We're going to go away. We're going to pay some bills. We're going to come back and talk more with Todd Horowitz from Bubba Trading about the livestock after this. All right, welcome back to Market Day Report. I am Scott Shelby, otherwise known as the Cow Guy. We got to get these livestock prices teed up for us. Let's take a look at what's happening in Chicago with that Chicago live cattle market. Well, it's going to be mixed. We've got October up a dime. That's not doing very much. 144.60. And look at the range there, folks. It's only about not even 60. Well, it's about 60 cents. So not really doing very much at all. 12.5 cents lower in that D's contract at 150.50. Again, when I say small change on the day, small range on the day, means there's not a lot going on. Let's move along. How about feeders? Are they getting a bump from a lower corn or higher? They should be getting a little bit more of a bump than this. I don't know. I'll ask our analyst in a second here, but I would have thought I would see something better, and we have seen something better in SEP. Look at, we're up 80 cents now, 184.17, but look at the high. We were up around 185.30, so we've definitely backed off more than a buck here. So that's interesting to see. Let's go out to Nova. That's up 90 cents to 188.47, and that too is we've backed up, say what, 70 cents. So that's an interesting board. Not acting as strong as I would like to have seen it. How about lean hogs? Well, this one's just steady better, as we'd say on the floor. December's up 30 cents to 90.67, while April's up 40 cents to 95.57. That's about 10 cents off the highs there in April. All right, let's bring in Todd Horowitz back from the Wings. Todd, thanks for waiting around. And we got about 60 seconds. Want to sum up the livestock for us?
Yeah, I think I think we've reached probably the pinnacle of highs. I don't think they're going much higher. I think, you can see by the way the feeders are reacting to the corn board that they probably reached a peak here. And again, I don't think they're going down. I just don't think there's a lot of room to go on the upside, barring an emergency or some major virus that suddenly shows up in cattle. I think that, again, these meat prices are pretty high in comparison. They've kind of kept up in the inflationary world. And I don't know how much more room there is to go. And certainly, I would have thought we'd even get a little bit of bump today with crude getting hammered, but that's not the case either. So I think in my eyes, they're kind of like fairly priced, and I don't see a dramatic amount of room to go to the upside. I don't think they're going down. I just don't think they're going, up dramatically.
All right, that's better than I could have said it. I really appreciate it. Todd Horowitz, he's with Bubba Trading. He's out in Las Vegas. Thanks for being on the show. I can bring him back to Nash Vegas and throw this over to Janet.